Hey everyone, this is Aries. How's everyone doing? I'm gonna come to you with a what I want to call it. It's not a recap, a review of Once Upon a Time, the Black Swan series, season 5, episode 1. Now, when the series first, when the episode first came on, we're it starts out with a young Emma going to the movies. Emma, she was an adopted child, so she didn't really have anyone to, purchase her any food or anything. But we started with a young Emma at the movies going to see the King Arthur story, the Disney cartoon, the Sword and the Stone, with Merlin and little King Arthur. So, Emma, she's walking in, she's looking at the kids getting popcorn and stuff, and she's hungry. She doesn't have any money to buy anything. So when she walks into the theater, she sees this healthy woman sitting in a seat, and in her pocket that's hanging over the rail is a candy bar. So Emma, as sneaky as she is at this time, she walks up and gently picks the candy bar out of the woman's pocket. Then this strange man walks up to her and is like, "Don't do that." And Emma's like, "What? What? Don't do what?" And he's like, "I'm not talking about the candy bar." And basically, he's telling her, one day she's going to be able to pull the sword from the stone. And if she does, just walk away. Don't pull the sword from the stone, basically. Leave it alone. Warning her, don't do that. Do not pull the sword from the stone. Leave it alone. Walk it away. Don't do it. Okay, and then we leave from there to where it fades into King Arthur looking for the sword in the stone. So I guess in this episode we're going to. So I see they're basically keeping it Disney now. So basically we're going to King Arthur and the Sword in the Stone, since I guess we're going to be looking for Merlin to help Emma get the darkness out. So we go to King Arthur with the Sword in the Stone, his quest of finding the Sword in the Stone. His knight Lancelot, and another knight. They are on their horses riding through the forest, and they get to where they need to be. But they notice someone that's beat them there. It's one of Arthur's fellow knights, who's basically trying to betray King Arthur because he feels like Arthur is not worthy of being king. So he tries to pull the sword out of the stone, and poof, he turns to dust. And the other ones are like, "Well, it's your turn." So Arthur walks up to the sword and he pulls the sword out. But they notice that half of the sword is missing. Basically the end point, where the point is. So basically half of the sword is missing. And would you not guess it and believe, oh, they did it so well, the dagger that the Dark One is controlled by is the other half of Excalibur. Wow. So we go back into. So we return to Storybrooke where it left off in the final last of the last season, where Emma gets sucked up by the darkness and disappears, and the dagger drops. So everyone is out there on the street looking, and Hook picks up the dagger and calls, Emma to him. But Emma doesn't come. Why does Emma not come? Because she's not in the real world anymore. So they have to find out a way to find Emma so they can help her. All right. Then we go from there. And then Emma is basically reborn, how the Dark One is always reborn, basically, through the darkness. Comes up through that, what I want to call it, oil and sludge. Just born through that oil and sludge, that darkness, and comes up. And she rises up from that in the enchanted forest. Um, to me, this is ironic, but her spiritual guide, you want to say, her guide to help her accept her darkness and to learn her darkness is none other than Rumple. He basically tells her, she says, "Aren't you supposed to be in Storybrooke?" And he's like, "That Rumple is in Storybrooke, but this Rumple, who is part of the darkness, who is part of the dagger, is here as, would you say, your guide." And basically, and he's like, "All of the dark ones are here, are in, part of this. But we're, basically, I'm going to use this form as your guide." Basically, he's wanting Emma to accept her darkness and use it. Basically, that's what he wants her to do. But basically, Emma is trying to wants to fight it. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want to accept it. She's trying to fight it off. And basically, okay, then we go back to Storybrooke, where the story, I'm gonna call them the Storybrooke team. Basically, the Storybrooke team is going to consist of Snow, Prince Charming, Hook, Regina, and Henry. That's the main Storybrooke team. So the team goes to the apprentice to ask him, for help to get to know if he knows where Emma may be and to get help. And basically, he tells them Emma is where darkness is always born, the enchanted forest. So they found out Emma's was reborn in the enchanted forest, and then he gives them a wand and basically tells them, I forgot what he says. He says something, well, whatever he says, basically the wand that he gives them is composed of light, and only someone that is dark can use it to conjure a portal. Basically, that's what he says. Regina grabs the wand and tries to use it, and it doesn't work for her. And Hook's like, "Well, it's not. Of course, it's not going to work for you. You've done so much good lately. You're basically good. You're not bad anymore." So they have to. So basically, he brings up, "Well, then why don't we ask the wicked? Go ask the wicked, to help." Basically, talking about, what's her name? Selena, the Wicked Witch of the West from Oz. Then we go back into the forest, where Emma tries to fight the darkness, and she's trying to find the darkness, and she's trying to go to Camelot to find Merlin. And from what I'm seeing, I think she almost kills a man trying to find out where Camelot is, but she's not meaning to do it. She just can't control the powers yet. She's new to this, and she's getting all this power, and she doesn't know how to control it yet. So she basically almost kills a man, but he runs away. And she, like I said, she's fighting the darkness, and she basically asks the guy, where can I go to find Merlin, this spiritual guy that only she can see, no one else can see it. So yeah, within this episode, with her speaking to this guy, it almost makes her look crazy in some way. So, and he basically tricks her into using, her dark magic to teleport to a place, which she does. And in this place, he basically tells her she has to catch this certain thing, which is a wisp. That you catch, and you take it back to its place of birth, whisper what you want, and it tells you. Where she chases this wisp, where out of nowhere, someone catches it, snatches it, puts it in a bag, and runs off. And then Emma, not knowingly, she uses her power, boom, knocks the person that caught the wisp down. Okay, hold up. Where am I? I wrote some of this stuff down so I could tell y'all, and keep up with what's going on. Already told you that. already told you that. Oh, back to Storybrooke. All right. So we're back in Storybrooke. This is after Gina. This is not my. Sorry, not Gina. After Emma, we're gonna call her the Black Swan because that's what she's going to turn into. Spoiler alert. Sorry. So we go back to Storybrooke where Belle is sitting by Rumple, who is no longer the Dark One, just sitting beside him, wanting to comfort him, making sure she's there if he dies. Then what's her name? The Blue Fairy walks in and basically conjures the rose. Y'all know from Beauty and the Beast about the rose. Conjures the rose and basically tells him this is linked to him. As long as he has life in him, this rose, you'll know because of this rose, will stay bloomed. If he starts dying, the rose will start to wilt. So and gives her the rose because the fairy is basically telling, Belle to go help because she's more resourceful in these situations. So she goes out and help with the rose that the fairy gave her. I already told you Emma started chasing after the wisp where someone reached out, grabbed it, and she used her power to stop. Boom, basically. And then we go back to Storybrooke where Regina Hook and Robin go to ask Miss Wicked herself to help. She tells them, you need, she basically, plays off, because she's pregnant by Robin. If you haven't watched season 4, you need to go watch season 4, see how that went down and came around. But she's pregnant by Robin, and she basically, I believe she's going to be using her baby this whole season for things, so people won't try to kill her, such and such, blah blah blah. So she's using her baby, telling I have to think about my child basically, and since I'm pregnant, I'm doing something, some better things. Yeah. And she, gets the wand. She can't use it because Regina put a bracelet on her that restricts her powers. Well, she's powerless with this bracelet on. And tells her, you need something personal of the person you're, that you want to seek or, open the portal to. Okay. And she's like, you came to me for a reason because you're not basically telling Regina you're not powerful enough to use this. So, hello, what about me? And Regina's like, not until hell freezes over, basically. Never, basically. And they walk out and, Miss Wicked whispers in, not really whispers, but talks into Hook's ear. She's not powerful enough and you need me in some way. In that sort of way. It's not what she said, but that's basically what she meant. Getting in Hook's head, and to get him to do something crazy. Because, he in love with Emma. And you know how people in love are. So he's going to do something crazy. But we'll get back to that. Then we get back to the Enchanted Forest where the girl stands up and draws an arrow on Emma, calling her a witch and stuff. And guess who it is? Guess who we found out it is? Merida. From Brave. Y'all remember that red-headed girl from Brave? It's Merida from Brave. Basically, she wants the Wisp to find her 3 brothers who have been captured. Her father has died, and the United Tribes, or whatever she said, they want a man to rule, and don't really take kindly to a female. You know how it was in the movie. They didn't really feel like a woman could rule. They wanted a man to rule. if you watch the movie Brave. And basically, she's trying to find out the people who kidnapped. She already knows who kidnapped her brother, but she's trying to her brothers. She's trying to find out where they are. So that's why she wants the Wisp to find out where her brothers are. And then Emma pleads with her, and Merida basically tells her, "I fight you for it." But Emma, fighting the darkness that's within her, declines. And they go on their way to where the Wisp is born, to the, what is it? The stone forest or something like that, to whisper into the Wisp to find out what they want. Hook, then we're back in Storybrooke. Hook goes to Henry. Because, in the last season, Henry became, what was it called? Not the Arthur, was it? Yeah, Henry became the Arthur. And as you know, him being the author, he has the power to rewrite stories and write stories and make them true. But as you know, in last season, he broke the pen because he said it was too much power. So Hook doesn't know that Henry broke the pen, so he goes to Henry to write the darkness out of Emma. And Henry's like, "No, that was too much power, so I broke it." And what happened last with the last one, where the power went to his head and he was using the magic to write his stories his way, basically. And so Hook starts to plot with Henry to free, guess who? Miss Wicked herself, Selena, from wherever you want to call it, the psych ward, where Regina puts most of the people she really doesn't want to see, or is tired of, or doesn't really care for. So, to free her from the psych ward. Then we go back to the Enchanted Forest, where Emma and Merida are, foraging to where the Wisp is born, because it's really like a journey. And, Merida, she's explaining her story, why she's doing this, blah, 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 blah. Trips over a rock. Emma asks her, has she really slept? And, Merida being Merida, really, whatever. So they set up camp. Back to Storybrooke. Basically, looking at Henry getting to the psych ward. Henry knows the codes because, of course, Regina, his birthday. So they use his birthday to get into the psych ward, where Henry creates a diversion with the head nurse at the desk. And Hook sneaks by, grabs the keys, and goes into Selena, Miss Wicked's cell himself, asking for her help. Basically, he tells you got to take this bracelet off if you want my help. Then he's like, well, I need basically a backup plan. So if you watch a couple of seasons before this, Regina gave him a potion to put on his hook to take out hearts, because she sent him to Wonderland to take Regina's mother's heart. So he still has some of that left, put it on his hook to take Miss Wicked's heart. Well, guess what? She cast a protection spell over her heart a long time ago. So when he goes to take it, it blasts him back. He flies into the wall. And then she basically tells him, well, I cast a spell on my heart a long time ago, blah, 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 blue, blue, blue. I'm not going to get into that. And steals his knife, cuts off her hand that the bracelet is on, takes the bracelet off, reconnects her hand with magic, and disappears in green smoke. She escaped. Dang Hook. Hook's starting to get on my nerves. I understand you in love, but sometimes you gotta let stuff play out. You never know if Regina was going to go back and actually use Miss Wicked to get what she wanted. But now you done try to do your own thing. Now Miss Wicked escaped. Like, for real. All right. Then Hook and Henry tell Regina what they did. They're basically letting Miss Wicked escape. Hook and Regina start arguing, talking about he basically does he want to know Hook. Snow stops the fight and basically asks when she's stopping the fight, basically telling them where their priority is supposed to be, and that's to help Emma. And where would Miss Wicked go? And you know Regina knows where Miss Wicked is going. Who else? The father of the baby, Robin. So here we go. Regina shows up at the loft. Well, Snow's in Prince Charming's loft, where Robin and his boy is. Basically telling him, not Regina, but Miss Wicked has escaped, and we need to go, and kisses him, and then we find out, no, that's not Regina, that's Miss Wicked. And she basically tells him, I'm finna use you to get what I want. So she captures him. All right, now we're in the street of Storybrooke in front of the library, basically, where Miss Wicked has Robin captured, and the Storybrooke team is out on the street trying to compromise what's going to happen. And she's basically trying to use Robin to get the wand so she can get back to Oz, because she doesn't want her baby born in the real world where people are going to basically try to turn her baby against her. She wants to raise her baby by herself in Oz, where she may be feared, but she had immense power and didn't no one try her, basically. So she wants to go back to Oz. So they trade, boom. She uses the wand. Something happens. Regina puts the bracelet back on her. Regina takes the wand back and basically told her, our family is good for using others' pain, basically. And basically that's what she did. So Regina got what she wanted. Again, because that's Miss Wicked's thing. Regina's always getting what she wants, and she's getting nothing. So Regina got what she wanted again. She got the portal open, because that's basically what she wanted, for the portal to get open so they could get to Emma. But the way Miss Wicked had it set up is that the portal was going to go to Oz. So we get back into the forest. I skipped a part. While we're in the forest, Emma's guide to the darkness was talking to her, and I said, can't no one else see or hear this guide? Only Emma can. So her and Merida are she's trying to go to sleep. Merida, we thought was asleep, is laying there, and Emma can't go to sleep, and basically her guide tells her, we don't sleep. That you need to find a hobby, and it basically explains how the wisp works to her. That if Merida whispers into the wisp is going to be connected to her forever. It's hers. And basically telling her it's not something that can be passed. It can only be passed as long if her heart is not beating anymore. And he's basically telling her to betray Merida to get the wisp to find out what Merlin is. And she's basically speaking out like she's speaking to a real person, but she's not. Because I told you, it's just someone she can only see and hear. Merida don't know what's going on in there. She thinking this is a crazy lady, and she's speaking out. You guided me to her because you wanted me to betray her. And Merida hears this, and so fast forward, Emma comes back to the camp. I guess she went to go scavenger some food and finds out Merida left. Because, of course, Merida left. She heard this foolishness she was talking last night. Thinks you crazy as I'll get out. And she said, I'm gone. So she left. And basically, you know, Emma's God is basically trying to get her to use the dark powers, you know, and Emma is really trying to fight it. She's really trying to fight it. So back to Storybrooke, the Storybrooke team gathers in Granny's, and they're like, so how are we going to get this portal to find Emma? And then Regina pulls out the blanket that Emma was wrapped in when they transferred her from the fairy tale world to the real world. Excuse me, y'all. Ooh, excuse me. All right, from the fairy tale world to the real world, and she casts a spell, and the portal magically, you know, changes from going to Oz to going to where Emma is. Well, while they're in Granny's, a couple of the doors come in and said, you know, we're always left out. No, we're not going to be left out this time. You know, we're going to, basically, because, you know, every time something comes up, the doors are never around to help or, you know, experience the journey or the adventure. So this time they're like, no, we're not going to be left out. We're going with you. So the cyclone, which is the portal. Come on now, Miss Wicked. How you get odds? Cyclones. So Miss Wicked cyclone, which is now a portal to get to Emma, picks up Granny's and floats around into this portal to transport them to the Enchanted Forest where Emma is. And basically, okay, so Emma Emma uses her dark powers to find Merida because in the Stone Forest, because, you know, really wants to explain to Merida what's going on in her head, what's going on, but Merida's not hearing that. So the guide, you got Emma trying to stay in her right mind. You got the guide over here whispering in her ear, use her, take her heart, la la la, to use her dark powers on Merida. And Merida, she's not hearing this foolishness because you crazy, and I don't have time for this, basically. So Merida is shooting arrows at her, you know, Emma's catching them, and before you know it, Emma gives in, start using her powers on Merida. Basically, you know, brings Merida come to her, basically pulls a scorpion move, get over here kind of thing. But she uses her powers to bring Merida towards her, and then she takes Merida's heart out and pulls it out and is about to squeeze it when you know what, the Storybrooke team shows up. And they start talking to her. No, this is not what you want to do, basically. Don't give into the darkness, blah, blah, blah. And they basically tell her, you know, it has to be her decision. And so, you know, and Hooks talks to her. And so she decides, she puts Merida's heart back and hugs Hook. You know, Emma, she apologizes to Merida, and she tells, you know, everyone they really shouldn't be here, you know, but they said, no, we want to get here to help you, you know, to help you get rid of this evil. And they decide to give her, Emma, the dagger with her name on it. But Emma decides, no, that's too much power. I'm trying to get rid of the darkness. I'm going to give this to someone. Just in case, basically, she wants to give it to someone if it is needed that will put their emotions aside to take care of what needs to be taken care of. So she gives it to Regina. Yes, she gives the dagger to Regina. So everyone goes back to where Granny's is. Emma sees who all came, and then who rides up? King Arthur and his court. They ride up. And they basically tell them this has been predicted. Merlin predicted this. They asked them where Merlin is. They said Merlin disappeared, but you're part of the prediction because you're supposed to help bring Merlin back. So that everyone, you know, they're like, why are you here? They said, we're coming to take you to Camelot. So everyone goes to Camelot, and as they're walking in the doors, we go back to Storybook, which is supposed to be 6 weeks later, and here is the Storybook team back in Granny's. Granny's is back in Storybook with the team in it. The two elves who were the sheriff at the time go back there and like, what are y'all back? Why are y'all back? And they ask, everybody's like, the last thing I remember is that we were walking into Camelot. And they're like, why are we in these clothes? What's happened? How long have we been gone? They say 6 weeks. Then people are like, where's Emma? And then here it is. Dun, dun, dun. Emma turned into the Black Swan. You see her, she's all dressed in all black. Her hair is basically looking pitch white. Back in a bun with some feathers coming out, and she looks kind of pale. What's his name? I think Sneezy. Is it Sneezy? Sneezy sneezes, and she's like, "Who are you?" Walks up to him and turns him into stone, like you want nothing. Then she walks up to, basically Regina tells her, "You need to stop." Then she walks up to Regina like, "What are you going to do about it?" Regina goes to grab the dagger, and it's not there. And guess who has it? Emma. Miss Black Swan herself has the dagger and says, "Ain't no one else is going to touch this but me." And she says, basically tells everyone that you're going to pay what you did for me. I'm going to punish everyone for what you did for me. And they basically ask her why, and she says, because I'm the dark one, and then disappears. Poof. So I guess we have to wait till next episode to see what's going down. I believe this is going to be a good season. I liked all the seasons basically, but I believe this is going to be a nice season. Emma as the dark one. Oh yes, it's going to be good. Well, that is my review of Once Upon a Time, The Black Swan, Season 5, Episode 1. Alright, now, y'all be good. Peace. Peace. And words of encouragement, like I said, I'm always going to tell you to look at yourself, smile at yourself, tell yourself you're beautiful, tell yourself you're cute, you're handsome, gorgeous, whatever. As long as you encourage yourself, as long as you uplift yourself, okay? That's all I want you to do. Don't be down. Don't be in that misery. Don't be depressed. No. Encourage, uplift, and restore your mind. All right. Bye, y'all. Like, subscribe, share, email me. All right. Email ARI3SMAR5@gmail.com. Again, like, subscribe, share. Bye.